The desert wind tore across the training field like a living thing, kicking up sheets of sand that shimmered in the dawn light. The SEAL commander stepped out of the operations tent, expecting the usual morning chaos gear checks, shouted orders, metal clanking, but something made him stop cold. Near the weapons bay, a lone figure sat cross-legged on the ground, sleeves rolled up, calmly cleaning a Barrett .50 caliber sniper rifle as if it were an ordinary carbine. No recruit touched that weapon without trembling. No one even went near it without authorization. But this woman's hands moved with the confidence of someone who had mastered it long before arriving here. The commander's boots crunched over the sand as he approached, suspicion tightening his voice. "Who authorized you to touch that rifle?" She didn't startle, didn't even glance up. "It was collecting dust, sir. Couldn't let that happen." Her tone was steady, almost bored. The commander frowned, irritation rising. "Do you even know what that thing can do?" This time she lifted her eyes, calm as stone. "Yes, sir, I do. I used one to make a shot from 3,000 to 147 meters. The air around them seemed to stop moving. Conversations died, even the metallic clatter from nearby soldiers froze mid-sound. The commander blinked, unsure he'd heard correctly. 3,247 meters beyond the range most elite snipers could see clearly through a scope. She repeated it with the same quiet certainty. Confirmed kill. Afghanistan, 2018. In that instant, the entire base shifted their gaze toward her not as a recruit, but as something far rarer, a sniper with a kill distance approaching world record territory. And yet, her file had mentioned nothing, no commendation, no notation. Nothing that explained how a woman this calm could carry a story buried that deep. The commander felt the unsettling pull of a truth hidden in plain sight. As the sun rose, painting the horizon in gold and blood orange, the narrator's voice enters. Sometimes, legends don't walk onto the battlefield wearing medals or announcing their past. Sometimes they sit quietly in the sand, cleaning a rifle that should terrify them even though they've already used one to change the course of a mission no one is allowed to talk about. The commander watched her a long moment, trying to reconcile what he had just heard with the silence of her record. Was she lying? Or had someone erased the truth for a reason far above his pay grade? He walked away slowly, but the thought clung to him like desert heat. No one makes a 3,000 to 147 meter kill by accident. And whoever she was, he needed to find out why her legend had been buried before the truth came back to haunt them both. The evening settled over the camp like a heavy blanket, the last streaks of sun fading behind the dunes. Inside the commander's tent, a single lamp flickered, stretching shadows across maps and classified documents. He sat behind the metal table, eyes fixed on the woman who had stunned him hours earlier. She stood at attention, posture steady, expression unreadable. "That shot you mentioned," he began, his voice low. "Why isn't it anywhere in your record?" For the first time, something in her eyes shifted, quiet, restrained, as if she was deciding whether the truth was worth sharing. Finally, she spoke. "Because it wasn't supposed to happen, sir." The commander leaned forward, frowning. She continued, her voice soft but sharp with memory. "My team was ambushed during an extraction. Command labeled it a failure before we even made it out. They didn't want the media or anyone else to know what went wrong. We weren't supposed to be there." She paused, breath slow and controlled. "The last evacuation bird was seconds from being shot down. I made the shot. But when the mission was buried, everything that happened inside it was buried too." The commander studied her, realizing the truth wasn't arrogance, it was a wound. The days that followed revealed more about her than any file ever could. At dawn, when the rest of the base wrestled with exhaustion and sand-filled boots, she was already on the range, adjusting wind calculations by instinct alone. During tactical drills, she moved like someone who had been shaped by survival, not training manuals. Every shot she fired was a quiet declaration of mastery, never rushed, never wasted, always exact. She didn't celebrate when she hit perfect scores, she didn't grimace when others failed. She simply observed, learned, and kept her distance. The commander watched from afar, noting the contradictions. She was precise but never proud, efficient but never eager for praise, cold but not cruel. There was no ego in her movements, only discipline carved from years of carrying burdens no soldier should bear alone. When recruits whispered about her kill distance, about the way she never missed a target no matter the conditions, she ignored them. If anything, she seemed to shrink from the attention. In briefing rooms, she chose the back corner. In Chow Hall, she sat alone, and in every silent moment between missions, there was an unmistakable heaviness in her eyes, the kind carried only by those who've seen too much and survived anyway. The operation came without warning, an urgent call. Hostages trapped inside a fortified mountain compound with enemy snipers embedded across every ridge. The moment the team arrived and scanned the terrain, the mood sank. There were no clean entry points, no safe paths, no blind spots. Lieutenant Harris muttered, "We'll get shredded before we hit the gate." Everyone knew he wasn't exaggerating. The commander studied the map, frustration tightening his jaw when a calm voice cut through the tension. "You don't need to reach the gate," she said. Heads turned. She was already unfolding the Barrett, laying flat in the dirt, aligning the bipod with smooth, practiced movements. Harris scoffed, "You can't even see the gate from this distance." She didn't look at him. "I don't need to, just give me the coordinates." The wind howled through the canyon, carrying dust like razor-edged smoke. But her breathing stayed steady. Her finger eased against the trigger, crack. A half-second later, a plume of dust in the far distance. One down, another shot, another ridge cleared. Her precision was unreal, 8 enemy snipers eliminated in under 7 minutes. When a rocket slammed into the outer wall and chaos erupted, she sprinted toward danger, spotted the second launcher's glint, and fired before it could kill them all. Then silence. She stood, Barrett slung over her shoulder. "All clear, sir." Night settled over the mountains, campfires burning small circles of light in the cold darkness. He found her sitting alone, staring into the flames as if they carried memories she wished she could forget. "You saved all of us today," the commander said quietly, taking a seat beside her. She didn't look up. "No, sir. I just did what I had to." Her voice was steady, but there was an ache beneath it. The world remembers numbers, the distance of a shot, the bodies on the ground. They never remember the faces behind them. He realized then why she carried herself like a ghost. Not because she lacked pride, but because she refused to honor violence as victory. Weeks later, she received a citation for valor. The entire base gathered to celebrate, but she refused to attend. Instead, she stayed on the firing range, cleaning rifles alone, as if trying to wash away the memories each weapon held. The commander approached her again. "Why don't you ever take credit?" She gave a faint, tired smile. "Because every shot means someone didn't make it home. That's not something to celebrate." Years passed. When she retired, the commander, now an admiral, placed an old Barrett .50 in her hands, wrapped in the flag. Engraved on the barrel, "Distance means nothing when duty is close to the heart." The sun was setting when the final chapter of her service quietly closed, bleeding warm gold across the training fields where her legend had begun. She stood near the edge of the range, the desert wind tugging at her sleeves just like that first morning. The commander, now an admiral, approached with the same heavy, deliberate steps he'd taken the day he first questioned her. But this time, there was no suspicion in his eyes, only respect. He held out a Barrett .50 wrapped carefully in the American flag. Its metal gleamed softly with age and memory. She hesitated before taking it, her fingers brushing the engraved words along the barrel. "Distance means nothing when duty is close to the heart." For a moment, she simply stared at it, not with pride, not with sadness, but with the understanding of someone who had carried the cost of duty far too long. She slung it over her shoulder, exhaled, and looked toward the horizon, and changed, but somehow freer than she had ever been on any battlefield. The admiral watched her walk away, her silhouette shrinking against the burning sky. He remembered the first time he saw her cleaning a dusty rifle, thinking she was just another recruit. He understood now how wrong he was. Legends don't ask for recognition. They don't chase medals or applause. They rise from silence, carry the burdens no one sees, and disappear the same way, quiet, steady, unbroken. As her footsteps faded into the desert, the narrator's voice settles over the scene. True strength isn't measured in meters or missions, it's measured in how deeply you care for the lives you protect, even when no one will ever know what it cost you.